We are live. We are live. Hello and welcome to Cricket Adda Presents Wrong One Episode 1, a new weekly cricket podcast co-powered by Lizzat Papad, whatever it is. What is the sponsor? Lizzat Papad, yeah. So we have the same number of viewers as my bank balance, zero. It doesn't matter. We'll just start the podcast. So the idea of the podcast is to just discuss the hot cricket topics along with a special interesting discussion on the Indian cricket team. So right now, the hot cricket topic is obviously the Ashes 2023. Just to give you a history, the Ashes obviously is played between Australia and England, and this time it's happening in England. Five-match series, and the first Test match has started on Friday. Currently, the score suggests that the first innings is null and void, as both the teams have got similar kind of scores: 393 for England, 386 for Australia, while England bat for the second time in this Test match on day three of the first Test match. So. Let's start off with the first day of the test match. First ball, Pat Cummins bowls a full length half volley, and Zach Crawley starts with a blazing cover drive to the boundary. Is it a sign that the Baz ball has well and truly arrived?
Yes, truly. I think if you remember the 2019 Ashes, the first ball set the tone of the Ashes with Mitchell Stark bowling that a full Yorkish length on leg stump, and it swung in and took off Rory Burns' leg
Leg
stump
stump, yeah.
to indicate that Australia is going to go for the kill. And I think England wanted to set up a statement. I don't think it was necessary, but I think it was very crucial for Crawley to make that statement that the backing that McCallum and Stokes have given him, and he's going to justify it. So taking out the best bowler, that is Pat Cummins in the Australian side, by just taking that risk, he wanted to make it very clear to everyone around that irrespective of the reputation, if this is something the template that they have decided upon, they're going to go with it. And you could see the way Australia responded by having four of the fielders on the boundary, trying to say that they would like to play this test match in a different way.
Yeah, so there are a couple of interesting points here, as you mentioned, obviously Australia's tactics and all. But first of all, let's start with the England tactics. They obviously, as we mentioned, Bazball has well and truly arrived. They want flat pitches, and they have given flat pitches. If you see the pitch, it looks like there is nothing. There's not much of a seam movement. There's no swing at all. If anything, there is a little bit of turn, especially on day one. We saw a little bit of turn. Yesterday, Moeen Ali got some turn, and now we expect Nathan Lyon to extract some more turn on day three as well. But interesting is that they have given flat pitches, which suggests that England want to go all out with the bat. But at the same time, Australia have come up with their strategy that we are not giving easy boundaries. Four fielders on the boundary, as you said, two on the offside, two on the leg side. You can take singles, but you can't take boundaries. What do you make of that strategy?
I think the tactic from Australia can be justified because you just require 10 good balls,
Correct,
to get a wicket.
Mm-hmm.
But 10 bad balls are not going to give you 40 runs, unlike the olden days, because you're just going to get uh,
10 singles.
10 singles for that. So I think Australia is trying to play the patient game. But I'm very impressed with the way England has actually gone and scored 393. There were some really good shots where you could see the batsmen trying to bisect the fielders on the boundary, and the way and I the declaration I think came too soon, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Exactly.
if you look what has basketball done, it has questioned the non-selection of Mitchell Stark, who's often known to be erratic, and their best bowler who came into the series, Scott Boland. If you see his statistics and they completely throw him off his line length. If you look at the statistics, I don't think Australia bowled more than 3 maiden overs in the entire innings.
Yeah.
It just shows that they were not able to build that kind of pressure. And had the English batsmen not thrown away their wickets, I think Australia would have been struggling, because I think what Australia has done very good. They've just bowled 80. They bowled less than 80 overs in the first innings, so their bowlers are not tired out as compared to England's bowlers. Also, these bowlers are no. I've been brought on to play on flat wickets
In
so,
Australia.
yes, so they have the temperament, and they can play the waiting game. It's not the same for English bowlers. And if you look at the medium pace of England bowlers, they've been very fortunate, or you can say they've worked very hard for their wickets, but they still managed to bowl at Australia for close to 400. So
Yeah,
I don't
two
think.
important points which you made here. Like Australia were playing the patient game and they were patient and they got the wickets. But at the same time, you could say that England have not given up on their strategy of scoring quickly, and they were scoring at 4.5 runs per over. As you mentioned, they just batted 78 overs to get to 393 for 8. Johnny Bairstow was batting at well above run a ball. Zach Crawley was around that run a ball. Joe Root, who got a century, batted quickly. And then obviously the others chipped in, the likes of Ben Duckett, Ollie Pope scoring some, and Haybrook scoring some quick runs, as well as we just see Nathan Land come into the attack in the second innings. It would be very, very interesting to see how much turn he gets because there is something on offer for the spinners. But you mentioned that Australia's tactics of pushing the fielders to the boundaries justified, but don't you think that England also played the smart game by saying that okay, we don't need boundaries. We can get singles, four singles in an over. That's again 4 runs in an over. Then obviously you'll get one odd boundary every 2, 3 overs because of a bad ball down the leg side, or say if it's a short ball, you put it in front of square for a boundary. So England played it smart. Obviously, they lost wickets while trying a few shots, some unlucky dismissals as well, especially Harry Brook hitting on the pad and then lopping up onto the stumps. But what do you think that is it kind of a like stalemate where nobody's winning here, or just do you think England went ahead with it? How
No,
did it go?
it's uh, it depends on what are the parameters that you're considering.
Correct.
If I look at it,
Mm-hmm.
for England to get 4 singles in the olden day, one good shot was good enough
Yeah,
because you beat covers,
it's a boundary. Yeah.
it's a boundary. You play straight, you get a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
But now to get a 4 runs, they have to play 4 shots. So the amount of shots that you're going to play has increased.
Okay.
So that way, what happens is you're more susceptible to errors as well.
Okay.
So if you're playing 4 shots, if you have one bad shot from there, you get 3 singles and you're down by 1 wicket.
Correct.
So I think what has happened is England are going to play a lot of shots, but if they're not going to fetch them runs, they are also going to be susceptible to throw the wickets away because this Australian attack with the emergence of Green has been more balanced. So you have 3 fast bowlers and 1 spinner, and you have another option in Cam Green who can bowl 140 plus. This is not the same with England. So the if considering we're playing the first Test match, had England thought about grinding these bowlers down because they were not because the backup reserves for Australia are not as good.
Yeah.
You still have Mark Wood waiting on in the wings for
Yeah.
England, but you don't have the same. You have Michael Neser, and I think you have who are the backup reserves for Australia. You
I
have
don't think they have
I think they
apart
have
from like obviously
Sean
Mitchell
Abbott.
Starc.
I
Yeah,
think.
Sean Abbott is there.
So they cannot produce the same kind of results that these experienced guys are going to produce.
The interesting thing is that our viewership has increased by the bank balance you had. I think your bank balance was one, my bank balance was zero. So a total of our bank balance has, by one I mean $1, right?
Yes.
Is it correct that your bank
Yes.
balance is $1? Yeah, I mean it's quite difficult at the moment, but that's how it is because we are expecting some money from Litzat Papad whenever they can pay us because this is something which we are investing our time in, investing our energy in. Apart from that, yeah. Now let's come to the. So basically, you are saying that the Australia's tactics of putting the fielders on the boundary is justified, and this is going to work throughout the series. It would be interesting to see what happens. Let's see. At the moment, Nathan Lyon has come into the attack, and Ben Duckett has tried to lap sweep him and get a boundary. Darshan Savalia, who is one of my college friends, says, "Love from Spain, Kulkarni sir." So we have viewers all around the world. If you want to just to give it to Lizard Papad, that please pay us quickly because we are getting viewership from all over the world. But yeah, next topic which I would like to come to, and the most important topic of the day is the declaration. 393 for 8. England were 350 for 8. From there, Joe Root and Ollie Robinson get them to 393 for 8. Root has got to a century. Robinson is getting singles pretty easily, 25 or 43 if I'm not wrong. What was the need of declaration? Obviously, you know that it's like just 4 overs remaining. I don't know why did Ben Stokes declare at that point of time where they could have got another 30, 40, 50, maybe 60, 70 runs. You never know.
Yeah, this is something that was difficult for me to comprehend as well because I can understand if England had a 30 to 40 minutes of bowling, if they could squeeze in 10 overs,
Yeah,
then it would
five
have
five
been,
from each.
yes, it would have been a smart move because you would have had a 10 over burst, 5 each from both. I was expecting Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad to open the innings, and then next day you have then fresh again, and they could continue with this plus another 10 overs. So it's 20 overs on the trot. But just they could just squeeze in, I think, 4 overs. So and considering the pitch is not, it might deteriorate, but it's not a health of fast bowlers, and there's a lot of bowling that the English pacers might have to do. Considering Ben Stokes is not going to shoulder much of the responsibility,
Yeah.
and then if he shoulders, you cannot expect much from him because he's coming off from an injury. So he's just going to he's just going to bowl. You can say a few outswings. He'll try to bowl in one booming in spinger, and that is kind of the surprise element that he's going to bring in from the bowling. But the main bulk of the bowling has to be done by the three pacers, who are starting off at 130, 136, who might drop down to 125 towards the end of the test match. So I think what considering Australia had just pulled 79 overs, I think England should have tried to at least force them to bowl another 10, 20 overs and hung in there. That way they could have at least won them out. Also, they would have gotten some quality runs because Joe Root was just trying to freeze arms.
Correct.
Yes, so I think they should have batted their entire, because now what you've done is your 2 wickets don't add up into the next innings.
Yeah.
You have to start again. Yes, so any runs that are missed is a big loss now, because
And it's not like as if they were like walking wickets. Joe Root was batting there. It's not like just Robinson and Anderson were batting.
yes,
Yeah.
you can understand if like a Mark Wood and Stuart Broad were batting, and you want to protect them against
Yeah.
the short ball
Yeah.
barrage, then it's a smart declaration. But you had Robinson, who was showing that he could handle the who could handle the ball, and you had Joe Root, who's like one of the best batsmen. So I think they should have batted. They should have batted till they were all out. But let's see now. We could just the what the declaration has done doesn't, and because Australia were at 78 for 3, the declaration will not be viewed like as a bad strategic move, because at the end of the day, Australia has still not been able to overcome the deficit.
Yeah.
Even though they were looking like they could have with the kind of batting that they had. So I think what the declaration has done, it has taken away the advantage that England could have had, and it has brought the test match still in balance. We got three days, and it's still in balance.
Yeah, but I would say that England got it wrong. Like, we have to agree with that, because I think that another 30-40 runs now in this case, because they've got a lead of 6 runs, which is like almost null. But 6 plus say 30-40, 46-50, if you just close in that 50 runs, 50 runs is a huge difference, especially in the fourth innings when Australia have to chase, say, something 300, 350. Suddenly 300 becomes 350, right?
Yes.
250 becomes 300. And then you also have that psychological advantage, saying that we had that 50-run lead in the first inning. So that's something which I definitely didn't understand. It's not as if they got 2 wickets on the first day itself, where for two overs were bowled by Broad and Robinson. So again, there was like not huge amount of sieve movement. You can agree if that it was getting overcast and you want a new ball quickly in the hand so that Anderson can get a couple of wickets. And obviously, as you mentioned, Anderson never opened the bowling, so that's something which has to be debated as well. I don't know if Stokes or anybody was asked whether why Anderson was not
an
given the
important
new
thing
ball.
to note is, like, at that point of time, I think it was 79th over when they declared.
Correct.
Yes, you had Cummins who had been wicketless. I think they must have thought that they might have not wanted to give him a wicket, so that he's a little, you can say, psychologically challenged. That way, and he would take it on him. He would be more he would put more pressure on himself, being the captain, that to deliver in the second innings and affect him. And also, Lyon had taken 4 wickets, so maybe they didn't want to give him his 5th wicket and give him a psychological advantage. That is the only probable plausible solution I have. And maybe they played it from a very psychological tactic, saying that we might give these guys a wicket and give them an advantage, so might as well let us negate our advantage of scoring an extra runs. I think that is the only explanation that I can come up with.
Maybe.
That's
So
the
the viewership has again gone down to my bank balance, which is 0. But no issues. If anybody is watching, if there is a glitch and anybody is watching, you can ask questions in the chat and we'll try to answer them. So that's the story of the first inning so far. Australia haven't batted like really great. Khwaja was obviously brilliant, but again, Smith and Marnus not at their best. Marnus getting a golden duck, Stuart Broad getting him. Warner once again falling to Stuart Broad. So that's the story of the Ashes, whether it was 2019 or it's not 2023. But I think Carey chipping in with very important runs. You had Head with a 50, and then obviously Cummins, the skipper, getting a crucial 30 to get almost level with the England score in the first innings. Having said that, Anderson got a wicket, but it was Broad and Robinson who got 3 wickets each. And I think Broad's 2 wickets, the Warner and the Labuskakne wicket, were the crucial wickets because that's something which you need. And then Stokes, the skipper, chipping in with the biggest wicket of Steve Smith. As we see that it has started to rain in Edgbaston, so the match will be stopped at the moment. The podcast will be on. That's why you should come to the podcast. Wrong one. Episode 1, this will be a weekly we'll try and make it be a weekly cricket podcast. If not, definitely a bi-weekly cricket podcast where we will discuss all the hot, interesting cricket topics and a short discussion on the Indian cricket team. So, just moving on to day 3, day 4, day 5. What do you think at the moment? Who is ahead? I would say England just by a little bit. If they can score around that 320, 330 mark, I think that should be enough for the fourth innings because there will be some turn on offer. You have Moeen Ali, Joe Root in the fourth innings, and then obviously Ben Stokes with his short ball tactics and some out of the box tactics where he like just put all the fielders inside for Usman Khwaja. That's something which I've never seen. So, do you think England little bit advantage at the moment?
It's tough to say. It's just 33 run.
No, I'm just saying because Australia have to bat fourth. Mm,
I won't say that because
okay.
if you look at the way they've handled Moeen Ali for that matter, even though Moeen Ali is a good spinner, if the way they've targeted him
Mm-hmm.
and uh, he had the luxury of bowling to two left-handers. He started off bowling to Khwaja and Head, and then there was Carey as well. So you expected him to do a lot of much damage. He got the wickets, no doubt. But if you see the amount of runs that he has bled, it just goes to show that Australia can handle him. Yes, it's not unlike they were facing a bowler like of the quality of Ashwin for that matter or in Lyon for that matter. So you're going to bowl against you're going to bat against Root and Moeen Ali. So and Moeen Ali is a good spinner, no doubt. But when it's come to playing against Australia, they've always found a way to negate him. So he's going to really do well for that matter. And for that matter, England also have to blame because they've dropped their chances as well. So even if you have Moeen creating chances behind you, you need a best to grab them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that that there is any advantage as of now. You can say it's 49-51 with England just ahead.
Okay.
Because this England, I said this.
The Wiz meter, the predict Wiz shows 56-39 and then the rest for the draw. But let's see, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, that's because it's going. I think it's calculated based on
Historical data. Yeah, historical data. Yeah.
England is playing a very, you can say, a very dangerous kind of cricket. It's like a gamble. It's going to be entertaining, but you never know which side of this you're going to fall down. You can't expect any kind of consistency. So it's yes, 10 good balls, and you could just see them get bundled out for less than 100 as well.
That's interesting. I don't think that will happen. They've already scored 33, and you have Joe Root to come. And Johnny Bairstow, who was absolutely brilliant before his injury, has started off with a bang on, and he scored 78 of 78 or 78 of 77 in the first innings, where he was playing some very, very high quality shots. Just a point I would like to make before we end the discussion on the Ashes: the commentary quality has been absolutely fantastic here. Nasir Hussain, Mike Atherton, Ricky Ponting, Kumar Sangakkara, Kevin Peterson in the commentary box, and it has been absolutely fantastic. It has been a joy, or it has been what all can we say? It's been brilliant to listen to these guys talk about Test match cricket because there wasn't much Test match cricket in the last 2.5 months. We are watching the IPL, obviously a fantastic tournament again with the Chennai Super Kings winning for the fifth time, Gujarat Titans coming ever so close from back-to-back titles, but that's fine. Moving on to the next topic, which is the Indian cricket team, and the Indian cricket team has lost yet another ICC final. This time, the World Test Championship. But in my opinion, before the match started, India actually have had very less chance of winning the match because Australia obviously coming in full strength. Australia, most of the Australian players were in England 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. You had Smith, you had Marnus, you had Khwaja there. If I'm not wrong, even the bowlers reached in earlier, whereas the Indian team came in late because of the IPL. But that's not an excuse I'm making. I'm saying apart from that, India was never full strength. They never had Jasprit Bumrah. They didn't have Rishabh Pant, and then obviously Shreyas Iyer as well. And KL Rahul as well. If because KL Rahul last series in the England series, like 2021, fantastic as an opening batter. So that's something which I think has been not considered while talking about the World Test Championship final. Yes, India lost, but do you think this is also a matter of fact to consider?
I don't think so so much.
No, but Jasprit Bumrah and Rishabh Pant were like two like huge players in the Indian Test team. If you especially in overseas conditions, because Bumrah hasn't had like a huge role in the Indian conditions, but in overseas conditions, especially England, Bumrah has 2 5 wicket hauls if I'm not wrong. So it's important for him to be in the team, right?
Yes, see, if you look carefully, had Bumrah been, maybe he would have created an impact. But you
Mhm.
have to also consider the fact that these bowlers are coming after bowling in the IPL. Now, when
Mhm.
you bowl in the IPL,
Mhm.
the lens that you bowl is different. You
Yeah,
don't play the waiting game
correct.
because you know the batsman is going to take his chances. So you go in either with a defensive mindset or an attacking mindset, and it's always very instinctive. It's just two balls. You attack, and then you come back on the you be defensive. You don't go attack for a spell of 5 6 overs. So there's a big difference in that aspect. If you look at the way Bumrah had bowled, even in the WTC final 2 years back, I think it was 2 years back.
Yeah,
Yes,
2021. Yeah.
you could say that that they counted him very well even in that series as well. So one it doesn't help when your one of your pacers is really good. Like we've seen this with India as well. In the past, you had one guy who was doing really well in the pace department, but the others were not able to apply that kind of pressure. That is the reason India's away record has not was never so good until they started adopting this five bowler strategy, because if
Mhm.
anyone had a bad day, you could always have him rest, and you had the other four bowlers to rotate amongst yourselves. So I think it's a bowling. We talk about batting partnerships. Bowling partnerships is also something that needs to be considered. And if you look at the kind of pressure that Australia exerted on India from a bowling partnership perspective, this is why this Australian team is really good. If you look at all four of their main bowlers, they're all 200 plus wicket takers. So they know how to play with each other. They know how to plot and plan and get an opposition out. So yes, and from the batting perspective, I think yes, India missed Rishabh Pant because he would have been the guy who would have played the counter attacking
Yeah,
innings.
yeah.
There was nobody from the Indian team whom you felt could take the attack to the opposition. It was always going to be on Kohli, but and you knew that Kohli has been on the downfall for quite some time now. And maybe I wish that he had played the patient game. He should have just been waiting, done a puja or waited. But Kohli, his instincts are going to take over at some point in time, and it was. And test honestly is all about who's going to blink first.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's just what happened. India tried to attack. They blinked first and they lost it.
Yeah, I think that's also one of the reasons why I love Test cricket, because you have to wait, and wait until the tide turns. And Kohli couldn't wait long enough. Edged one to the second slip. Obviously, a fantastic catch by Steve Smith, but Scott Boland, who has been fantastic over the last 18 months, 24 months, if I'm not wrong, in the Ashes as well. Last Ashes, he was like built a statue at the G for bowling, 6 for 7, if I'm not wrong, at the MCG. Very, very good bowling figures, and his average was below 15 before the first Ashes test started, and now he's gone for a lot of runs. But that happens because everybody has their bad days. Moving on to the Indian cricket team future discussion, and I think this is quickly we should like just talk about the West Indies Test series coming up. I think it starts on July 12 or July 13. You have two tests again, part of the World Test Championship, which World Test Championship cycle, which will end in 2025. So, what changes do you see? Because I see that Rohit Sharma and Gill will obviously still be the openers. Three, I would say right now, I would put a question mark there. Four, you're again going in with Virat Kohli. Five, at the moment, because Iyer is injured, you stick with Ajinkya Rahane as he did well in the WTC final as well. Six, you have Jadeja. Seven, you have KS Bharat. Do you have KS Bharat, or you switch to Ishan Kishan until Rishabh Pant comes back? And then obviously 8, 9, 10, 11 you can change depending on, like, obviously you'll have Shami and Siraj as the two pacers, and then Ashwin and Jadeja if you need two spinners. So that's something that can be done. So sorry, Jadeja is already batting at 6. I would suggest if you need three spinners in West Indies, you can go in with Akshar Patel. But yeah, but Do you see any major change? Like number three, I would like to talk because that's something which I want to talk about. Do you see Pujara playing for India again, or do you think they should like go with youngsters in Yashasvi Jaiswal or Sarfaraz Khan? Because those are the two players who have done fantastically well in the domestic circuit right
I
now.
think we know what we can expect from a Pujara. I
Mhm.
think we know what we can expect from Rohit Sharma and Test.
Mhm.
We know what to expect from Virat Kohli
Mhm.
and Ajinkya Rane as well. So having this West Indies series, I think should be used to give youngsters an option.
Okay.
Because let's say if Pujara scores at 200
Mhm.
in this Test series,
Yeah.
so what happens then? Where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Do you say he's come back in form and you give him another 2 year rope,
Mhm.
or for the same for Rohit Sharma as well?
No, but I think Rohit Sharma is a different case because he's the captain of the team, and you don't have any other option at the moment. What do you see? How do you see it?
So so what we can do is we can look to give Ajinkya Rahane.
The captaincy?
Yes.
Ajinkya Rahane didn't have a spot in the Indian team until the WTC
Exactly.
final.
So
So how are you going
we
about it?
have to we have to split at some point of time. We have to split it up into Test captaincy, and you require a player like Virat Kohli who can play all three formats to captain India.
Mhm.
If you can't have that kind of a personality, I think you need to split. You can't have
No, then why not give it to Ashwin, who has another 2 years until either Bumrah or Pant are ready as the next captain, or Gill maybe.
not a bad idea. The reason I was not considering Ashwin is because the Indian management has always had this, uh, you can say, had this thing that they
Ashwin
always
is
they
not the first choice player, you're
yes
saying.
they
Yeah.
don't consider him as the first choice. But if they want to go ahead like that and are ready to make that kind of you can say a decision, like we're going to play you in all tests, then I think heading away. Because I think if you remember very carefully, 2016 Ashwin was almost close to being vice captain. I don't know if he was
Yeah.
given the vice captain,
Yeah.
not sure, but he was very close. And the bad thing that happened for him is the overseas tour started coming, and they didn't know didn't know what decision to take. But they still backed him in the initial tests and all. He did well overseas to some extent, and then he always got injured.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
injury is an issue, but see, I think that they should stick with first choice should be Rohit Sharma as the captain for the next 2 years till the next
I'm not
WTC.
disagreeing, but I don't think you need him for the West Indies tour. I'm very clear on that aspect.
And who captains in the West Indies?
You can have Ajinkya Rane for that matter.
You can't change captains each and every series, right? That
You
would
can
be
give him a rest.
Rohit Sharma.
Yes, you can give Rohit Sharma a rest. We've seen.
But he rested in the IPL. Right? I mean, if you're not scoring runs, it's kind of
I think
rest,
he
right?
needs. Yeah. Yes, but he was there on the field.
He was there on the field, but
You
as a
need to give
batter, he
these
couldn't
players.
score runs.
No, you need to give this. I think India has to prioritize 2023 World Cup at the moment.
Yeah, that is something which I agree with, and we will come to that before
Yes.
the podcast about the World Cup series, World Cup, how it
Yes.
is
So
going.
considering
Yeah,
they are going to prioritize that, I think this West Indies series you need to give at least uh, 2 to 3 senior players a break. You
I
have
think
to.
Shami is getting a break because he has played like consistent cricket. He played the
Yes,
Australia
but
series.
you need to
He
give the
played
batsmen a break
17
because
matches. Yeah.
I think this set of batsmen, this group has been, you can say, has been put together since 2013.
Hmm.
Yes, 2013 is when I think, yeah, Rohit Sharma debuted. You had Rahane coming in around that time against Australia. You had Pujara who came in 2010, but cemented himself in 2012.
Yeah.
And same with Virat Kohli as well. He came in 2011, cemented himself in 2012.
12 in the Australia series.
Since then, these four batsmen have been playing together, and we've seen the results. Like they've done really well, but I feel in some part of them they've underachieved. They should have done much more. They should have had much more.
Yeah, I think the batting has
So you need, so irrespective of the bowling, whether the bowling needs a break or no, I think the bat you have to get in new guys. I think Gill stays
obviously.
for West Indies series. Yes, you have to take a long term decision call whether they want him as an opener or they want him as a middle order batsman. I feel he'll be really very effective if he plays in the middle
Middle
order.
order, I agree with that.
Yes, he'll be really because you, but
I
it's
don't
just
think he's
something.
ready to move from the opening spot. That's something which Gill has been adamant on. He's an opener. He wants to open. But yeah, quick. What I would like to suggest is that I think they should stick with Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill. I would suggest going with Yashasvi Jaiswal at number three. Pujara, I think it's the end of the road for him because like he hasn't really delivered. Whether it's the last 18 months, he has played county cricket, scored a huge amount of runs in the county circuit, but it's never translated to the Indian team. Like after his downfall, four you stick with Virat Kohli, five right now it's Rahane, and six Jadeja, and then seven I would go with Ishan Kishan maybe now because it's time that Case Bharat got five test matches, didn't do anything significant. Yes, he's a good keeper, but Ishan Kishan can change something with the bat as well. So,
But
yeah,
my point is, I think you need to give him this West Indies series at least. That should be his last.
Case Bharat,
Yes.
okay, that you
Because
can do. Okay, that's something which I agree with. Case Bharat can stay.
yes, because if you get in Kishan, and he's come on, West Indies don't have the bowling attack that they used to have in the past.
Obviously, that's true.
If he gets 100,
Mhm.
is he justified his position? Getting 100 against West Indies?
No,
Because
that's something obviously
so you need to
debatable.
back case. You've given him the tough series, the one against Australia. Okay,
But that was at home, so he could have scored at least 150 is what I'm saying.
you know the pitches that were there.
Yeah, true.
How much is Shreyas Iyer scoring?
No, Shreyas Iyer got injured. Shreyas Iyer got injured.
Did he cross 30 in
No,
all three innings combined together? No,
see, he was injured. His shoulder was troubling him. That's a, he has been good for India in the test.
I'm not
Yeah.
denying that. But I'm saying you can't judge a batsman.
No, but he could have scored in the last test match, which was on a flat wicket in Ahmedabad, if I'm not wrong.
So you look at Ishan Kishan. I don't know what has Ishan Kishan done.
Yeah, that's no. See,
Yes. I can understand if someone is banging on the door, then you give him only 5 test matches.
Correct.
I don't think Ishan Kishan has been banging on the door. I don't think he's been present at the door.
Yeah, I think the door has. I think he's at the other door. I don't know. He's going to the other door. He's not playing the Duleep Trophy. I don't know why. But yeah, not moving on. So, in your opinion, Rohit Sharma should be rested for the West Indies series. I'm sticking with Rohit Sharma as the captain for the next 2 years. If not that, I'm going with Ashwin as the captain for the next 2 years till the next WTC final. Out of the box call, Ashwin plays all test matches. Ashwin captain. That's how I'm going about it. If because I don't see any other option until Bumrah and Pant come, and even KL Rahul has not cemented his spot in the test side. So you don't want him to be the captain, and Kohli obviously
I
is
think
not
it's a
going to
transition
captain.
phase.
Yeah,
Does anyone know how many test matches Dhoni had played before he captained India? For that
no,
matter,
so that's why before Dhoni became the test captain, who was the test captain?
yeah, I think it was Anil
Anil
Kumble.
Kumble, yeah, in his last phase of the career. So that's why I'm suggesting Ravi Ashwin. Why not?
Yes,
Ravi
but Ravi Ashwin's issues have been his fitness, honestly.
That's true. That I agree. That I agree.
And even if it's the call that Ashwin made is are you looking at Ravi Ashwin only as test match cricket?
Yeah, obviously, because I don't see him as a white ball player now for India.
Because
He can keep playing the IPL.
Yeah, you have 2023 World Cup as well. Is he a part of the selection?
No, I don't think so. We will come to that now. As you just
Yeah.
segued into the 2023 World Cup,
Because
which starts in.
You have to be very clear in this aspect. I don't think India prepares for you can say for a big ICC tournament. I don't think you need a captain for 2 years. I think as of now, what India is going to do is they're going to say let let us manage let us manage the way things are happening. So I think Rohit Sharma will just captain a few games and all. And he'll take a call. I think after his 2023 World Cup, I think he'll decide what he wants to do and all. And I don't think Rohit Sharma is the type of player who's going to relinquish the captaincy. He'll have to take it away from him. Honestly, yes, he might retire from one format, but he's not going to give up. I am not convinced that he's Rohit Sharma is the right person even to play the 2023 World Cup. Honestly,
Yeah, we will. We are
But-
coming to the
yes.
2023 ODI World Cup, which starts on October 5, and if I'm not wrong, ends on in November sometime. The schedule has not been announced yet. BCCI is as slow as we are because even we don't know what's happening in our life. So does BCCI doesn't know when is the first, who is playing the first. There was a draft going around, but it hasn't been approved because I think Pakistan has asked for some changes. They don't want to play India here. They don't want to play Afghanistan there and all those things. But the final decision is that there is no official schedule announced yet, so we don't know who plays first, who plays the first game, who plays the last. Obviously, the last game is the final. But yeah, it's in October, November in India, and from the draft schedule, I don't know. From the draft schedule, there was like an idea that India want to play most of their games on turning tracks, especially against big teams, whether it's Australia, England, New Zealand. They want to play on turning tracks because I saw Chennai, Lucknow, and again Chennai as the venues for these big teams against these big teams. So does that suggest that India might want to go in with three spinners and two pacers in the 11 along with Hardik Pandya as the sixth bowler? If you're playing at Lucknow and Lucknow, I think we saw was one of the worst pitches of the IPL, where you could hardly get
It's a
106,
gamble.
110. Huh?
It's a gamble. The
Hmm.
reason why I'm saying it's a gamble is because
Then the opposition spinners come into play, is what you're saying.
yes, the
Correct.
opposition spinners come to play also. What happens is if you hit a roadblock,
Mhm.
who's going to bail you out? So are you going to have such pitches that start turning from the ball one where you open with spinners?
That would be a bit too much in the ODI format, I guess.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
if you know, I think you're very aware that you have these four fielders on the boundary
Yes.
throughout the middle overs.
Yeah.
So if you hit a roadblock against two players who are really good players of spin, now
Mhm.
if you play the weaker teams, they're just going to collapse against your strategy. But when you play the strong teams, you always find a will to win.
Yeah, and even
So
opposition teams have good spinner, whether it
yes,
has been Australia, they have Ashton Agar, Adam Zampa. New Zealand has Mitchell Santner, who has been right up there in white ball cricket with his bowling.
yes.
Then you have, I think, Michael Bracewell will play for.
No, he's Michael. New Zealand have lost Michael Bracewell as well.
He's not playing the World Cup.
No, he's out.
Even Kane Williamson is
Yes,
out.
he's
Oh,
out.
that's a huge blow
So they
to
have
New
just
Zealand.
they'll have Sodhi and they'll have
Yeah.
Mark Chapman and
Yeah,
Santner.
Chapman, yeah, and Santner obviously. And then England, you have to go in with
Moin
Adil Rashid and
Moin Ali.
Moeen Ali as the two spinners. So I think everybody has good enough spinners. So it's not like a very smart
Yes.
strategy to do that, because Indian batters have not been like the best players of spin. We have seen Virat Kohli get out bowled. We have seen Rohit Sharma get out to Googly's wrong ones, which is just a slight plug
Yeah.
of our podcast sponsored by Little Papad. But yeah, what I would say, but just quickly before we end the podcast, I think we have 5-10 minutes more. We had a cap of 45 minutes. Right now it's 36 minutes, so another 9 minutes. If you look at the squad, I think Rohit Sharma is fixed. Even if you don't agree, Rohit
Yeah.
Sharma is fixed because he's going to
It's too late. It's too late.
Yeah, exactly. Shubman Gill.
Yeah, he opens with Shubman.
Yeah. 3 is Kohli.
Yes.
4, first choice in my opinion is Shreyas Iyer.
Yes.
I'm just going through it quickly. 5 is KL Rahul.
Yes.
6 is Hardik Pandya. That's set there if everybody is fit. 7 is Jadeja. 8 is a question mark right now. I would say if Bumrah is fit, Bumrah comes in. Siraj, Shami, these are your 3 paces in the squad. So that's like 10 players. You would have Kuldeep Yadav as one of the spinners. That's 11. And then you have, I would go with another spinner. Then it's either Aksar or Sundar. So that's 12. You would need another Indian, or you need another middle order batter and another opener, in my opinion. So that's something. I think 11 to 12 players are set in the squad, provided all are fit.
So now the call that needs to be made is does India really want to play on turning tracks?
Yeah.
Because if you want to play on turning tracks, it takes the leg spinners out of picture, because you want
Wrist
players,
spinners, wrist
yeah,
spinners.
the wrist spinners basically to out of picture, because
But
you
you
want
said that
players.
most of the spinners are mystery spinners. I mean, most of the girls are mystery spinners.
Yeah. So
Just putting it out there that Kevin had told the future as well, and he has been like
yeah,
the guy with the future in his mind. Yeah.
so yeah. So coming back to that, because when you have turning pitches, you want bowlers who are accurate. Bad balls are going to come back to
Haunt them.
yes, it's going to
Yeah.
cost you,
Yeah.
because yeah. So do you want control, or because if you have flat wickets, I think going with wrist spinners makes a big call. So based on that, they need to take a call whether they really want to go with Kuldeep, and I think they'll take one spinner. I'm not sure whether it's going to be Kuldeep and Chahal, or it's going to be only Kuldeep. Yes,
You're talking
but
about the 11 or
the
the
15, I'm saying.
I would say that Kuldeep definitely in the squad. Jadeja is obviously there, and I would
You
say
can I think they'll pick four spinners. I think you
okay.
cannot go more than four
Yeah,
spinners.
definitely.
I don't think you can pick Ashwin or Sundar.
Mm,
I
no.
know they add a lot of this, but I think Akshar might get the nod.
Yeah, Aksar. I think it's Jadeja. If it's 4 spinners, Jadeja, Kuldeep, Aksar, and then Chahal.
Yes, because if India wants to play three spinners,
Mhm.
I think they have to play
Jadeja, Aksar, and Kuldeep.
Yes, Jadeja, Akshar, and whoever, whether it's Kuldeep or Chahal.
Chahal, yeah.
Yes, but I think it'll be Kuldeep because they would like one spinner who can take it back into the right hander.
Correct, correct.
Yes,
Correct.
I wish Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli could bowl a bit, but
That's not happening.
that's not happening, and
That's not happening.
that's where the balance of the entire team is it can be an issue because now what happens is you have to address the issues. You have uh, an uncertainty over Shreyas Iyer.
Yeah, but you have backups in either Surya Kumar Yadav or
Exactly,
Sanju
but
Samson. Yeah.
yes, how much time is there to prepare these guys?
I see. With the thing with Surya Kumar Yadav is, I think he's just not cracked the ODI code, but he should be there. He should be there somewhere.
I'm
think.
not convinced because what happens is
Mhm.
ODI is more of a consistent kind
No,
of game.
what you can do in that case is push Hardik Pandya at 4, KL Rahul at 5, and then bat Surya Kumar at 6. So he comes in at the 35th over with 15 overs remaining. That's a T20 situation for him.
But what happens is, you see, what happens is, see, the mindset in T20 is different.
That's true. That's true.
You won't take wickets, so you see a lot of field place changes. Now you expect Surya Kumar Yadav to can you Surya Kumar Yadav play the same shot 2 to 3 times again in the same over? So won't happen. So yes, because in T20 what happens is you if you look carefully, a lot of T20 batsmen have not been able to crack the ODI code for that matter. It's not like it's you can see Rishabh Pant has done it's a very different ball game. Honestly,
Rishabh Pant has done it in the
he's
ODI
done it
format,
well
but
in
not
ODI,
in
but not in
T20.
T20.
Yeah.
It doesn't work both ways.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is I don't recall since 2020 how much of you can say limited overs 50 over game Surya Kumar Yadav has played.
Yeah, not much. He got those 3 ducks in 3 balls against
Yes, that is an
Australia as well.
international cricket. We can always ignore that aspect. But
Yeah.
if you look at the kind of dismissals that he's got,
Mhm.
and in T20 these dismissals can be overlooked because what happens is you have the depth of your lineup and your failures can be ignored. That is the reason the failures of any T20 batsman can always be neglected. You at the end of the day you only see the stats. It's only when they don't win championships you look at what they've done in knockout games. But the same cannot be said in ODI cricket.
Yeah.
Yes, because there is time on your hands. You have to. So I'm not convinced. I think if they are looking at Surya Kumar Yadav, they need to play him in all the games.
Yeah.
Yes, and they need to play him at maybe 3 for that matter as well.
I
It's
think
required.
3, it's Virat Kohli.
Yes, but you have to back him. You have to play.
No,
You
no,
have to give him
yeah,
most of the opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, why I'm saying bat him at 3 is because assuming he'll come near the power play and all, he'll have his time.
True.
Yes, you get him at 4 and you try to play him. He's not going to get good enough opportunity. You know what? You realize what you're getting with him. Yes, so because he's going to come in a chase of let's say 300, coming in at 4. Suppose he fails, are you going to say he's not going to work for you? Whoever they're going to pick, they have to back that guy. I think the call is between Surya Kumar Yadav and Samson for that matter. I am not sure whether if they pick Samson, they're going to drop Kishan. I'm not completely sold on Kishan batting in the middle order.
True.
Opening wise, also, like he's had that 200, I think, against Bangladesh.
Yeah, apart from that, he hasn't had
He hasn't done
Yeah.
anything. And if you look at the way he's played in the IPL, despite batting in Wankhede, he has not looked convincing. It has been blow hot, blow cold.
Yeah.
And I think ODI cricket requires guys who can play consistent cricket. Yes. Or if you're looking at him as an impact player who can just come and play 10 balls, score you 25, something, then it's a
I
different
think there
ball
is no
game.
impact player rule in the World Cup. I know
Yes.
you meant that he
Yeah.
just comes in at the end and scores that 25 of 10, but I don't think Kishan is that kind of a player.
Yes.
But I think, yeah, very interesting discussion about the ODI World Cup, and this build up to the ODI World Cup will keep continuing in the future podcasts as well, because India play a lot of ODIs, whether it's against West Indies, they have the Asia Cup coming up, they have another series against Australia, if I'm not wrong. So there are a lot of ODIs, and the team will keep changing so that we get an idea who is in the picture and who is not in the picture. And your question about whether Ashwin will be considered or not is also something to be seen. Apart from that, I think that's it for today. It has been a very, very interesting first episode as we discussed about the 2023 Ashes and then the Indian cricket team, whether it was test matches and then the ODI World Cup. ODI World Cup, obviously, October, November. You can keep watching the Ashes till then, and then the India tour of West Indies. By the way, two of the games are in Florida, so we can definitely check those out if the ticket is reasonable. you guys can join us on that game, on that T20 series as well, India versus West Indies. So that's it, I think, from Wrong One. Cricket Adda presents Wrong One, Episode 1, Ashes 2023, and the Indian cricket team. Thank you very much. Signing off is Kevin and Shubham. Wrong One, co-sponsored by
Lidzat Papa.
Lidzat Papad.
Are they sponsoring our tickets as well?
I would talk with them. I will send an email right now and see if they can sponsor our tickets to the to T20 ice at Florida. Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe, and do watch Cricket Adda. Thank you very much.